Hello, everyone. Coming at you late yet again for my NFL 2017 Week 9. It's Week 9 already. NFL predictions? Yeah, it is. Wow. We're really rolling along, aren't we, guys? Um, on the season, 80 wins, 39 losses, over 66%. This is my best record starting probably since I've done these videos. I've never been over the 66% threshold. And over the last 2 weeks, I have a record of, I think I'm 23-2 or 22-3 or something like that. But impressive. So that has me worried this week because it's been chalk for the last 2 weeks. When does it flip around? When do we not have chalk? That is the question. Law of averages might catch up, or who knows? Maybe it's a fresh slate because weeks 4, 5, and 6 were extremely unpredictable. 7 and 8 were really predictable. So maybe that was where the balance happened. Now maybe it's just a fresh slate. But here we go. We have our first game. We have the Bills at the Jets. I'm picking Buffalo. The Bills' defense is solid. They have not been a good road team this year. They are 4-0 at home compared to 1-2 on the road. Their one win being in Atlanta. The Jets are a solid team. They're not going to go away quietly. I think the Bills take it 23-20 over the Jets. The Jets are a lot better team than we all thought they were going to be this year. That is a fact. The Jets in week 1, we all looked at that win 21-12. The Bills over the Jets, and we were just like, the Jets are bad. But the Bills may have actually beaten a pretty decent team in a pretty dominating fashion. So Buffalo, I think, goes on the road into the Meadowlands and gets this win to get to 6-2. What a start for Buffalo. Next up, we have the Baltimore Ravens at the Tennessee Titans. So I'm picking Tennessee. And the Ravens, I think, will keep it close. I'm going to say 27-20 over Baltimore. Here's the thing, guys, about Tennessee. And I've mentioned this in previous videos. Like I said, it's a week-to-week season. Anything can happen. Tennessee's fresh off a bye. Mariota's 100%. We've seen how capable this offense can be when they've played the Jaguars, the Seahawks, the Colts. We've seen the potential. They had one off game against the Cleveland Browns, whose defense really isn't as bad as a lot of people think it is. It really is not. The offense is what's terrible in Cleveland. Tennessee played tough. They're right on the edge of being a playoff team. You're not going to go out. I got to credit Sports Fan Entertainment for what I'm about to say here because I think he said it perfectly. Tennessee is a fringe playoff team. And fringe playoff teams don't go out and beat every team they should beat by 10 plus points. That just doesn't happen. It's the NFL. There are some games that you're going to have to, against inferior teams, suck it up and pull out a game right out of your butt. That's just the nature of the league. And 3 years ago, Tennessee loses that game against Cleveland. But this counts as a win the exact same way a 30-10 victory would count as a win. Because it all matters about the standings. And the fact of the matter is Tennessee is 4-3 right now. And we get a Baltimore Ravens team that has the worst passing offense in the NFL. And that plays into Tennessee's strengths because the pass defense has really started to come along a little bit. The defense over the last 3 games since that Texans game, the defense has allowed 11 points per game in the last 3 games. This isn't including defensive touchdowns or special teams touchdowns or anything of that nature. Because Tennessee allowed a defensive touchdown against the Dolphins and a defensive touchdown against the Colts. So, to be truthful, Tennessee's defense has tightened up, pun intended. And I believe Tennessee gets the win here to get to 5-3. Next up, we have the Buccaneers at the Saints. I'm picking the Saints. They're at home. They're a very good football team. Tampa Bay has been thoroughly disappointing this year. And I'm going to say this right now. It's not all Winston. Although he has fumbled 8 times this year, and so he has really, really turned the ball over and put his team in bad positions. So that needs to fix itself. Otherwise, he may be known as just the next Josh Freeman down there in Tampa. But there's still time for him to save it because we've seen how the potential that he has. So I believe the Saints will get the win here. The Saints defense has been playing very well. Marshawn Lattimore just stud there at cornerback. And I think the Saints get the win 26-18 over Tampa. Next up we have the Rams at the Giants. My God. I'm picking the Rams. The Giants, they're not that good. I mean, the Rams defense is going to stifle this Giants offense pretty thoroughly. I know there's a little bit of upset pick. A lot of people are picking this team, the Giants, at least I know of. I mean, they're home. Los Angeles is on a West Coast trip, 1 o'clock game. But the fact of the matter is the Giants are a 1-6 football team, and the Rams just had a bye week. So theoretically, the Rams should get this win, and I think they should get it easily. 24-14 over the Giants sounds like a decisive, reasonable score for a game like this. Now we got the Denver Broncos at the Philadelphia Eagles. We got Brock Osweiler, going up against Philadelphia Eagles. This is 8-1 in the making for the Eagles, who have already matched their season win total of last season of 7 wins. Philadelphia is good, and they just went out and got Jay Ajayi. I know the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line may not be the best in the league, but just the fact that you have a weapon like that in the backfield makes a defense have to be able to account for him, which opens up your wide receivers and it opens up your other running backs. So Philadelphia made a genius trade, only giving it away a 4th rounder. They unpantsed the Dolphins in that trade, I think. So Philadelphia, I think, gets the win against the Denver Broncos, 31-14. That Denver's offense has just been in shambles over the last couple weeks, and I know they put up a decent amount of points against Kansas City, but to be fair, Kansas City kind of had that game in the bag. I know they made it I believe they made it a 1-score game at one point, but Denver, they're ending up what I believe I don't know, I'm losing my words. I just don't know what to say about this Denver Broncos team. It's kind of surprising that they have started 2-0 and looking so good against the Dallas Cowboys, only to crash down like this. Next up, we have the Falcons at the Panthers. This should be a good one, and I'm going to pick Atlanta. Picking Atlanta on the road against Carolina, because as much as the Falcons' offense has struggled recently, Carolina's offense has struggled more. And Carolina has struggled to put up points in a lot of their games. I know they beat the Bucs by 14. They only put up 17. So Carolina, I don't think Carolina's defense can contain 2 offenses with that kind of star power in a row, especially considering the Falcons have Julio, Devontae Freeman. Atlanta, I think, goes into Carolina to get this W here, 28-21. Carolina will show some life. They'll show some offense. Atlanta's defense isn't dominant. It's good. It's not dominant. Next up, Bengals at Jaguars. I'm putting Jacksonville on upset alert only because of their win-loss win streak. Because the Bengals, as bad as they looked 2 weeks ago, and as I know they barely beat the Indianapolis Colts, this Bengals team still, I mean, I don't know what to make of them. They struggle against the Ravens. They get shut out. They struggle against Houston. Then they give the Packers a fight in Green Bay. Depends on which Bengals team shows up. So if the Bengals, no, I don't know. I gotta stick with Jacksonville. I can't stop thinking about how good that defense is. AJ Green is a solid wide receiver, so it'll be a nice test for Jacksonville to see if they can contain him. Andy Dalton is nowhere near his MVP level of 2015. Nowhere near that, which is very disappointing and should be disappointing for Cincinnati Bengals fans. The Jacksonville Jaguars get this win. We're going to go 20-13 over the Bengals. Now here's the trick with Jacksonville, and I figured this out too. The way to beat this team is you got to get ahead. And this isn't rocket science. 31 other teams know this too. Blake Bortles is not going to make any comebacks against you. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. Okay? Blake Bortles is not a very good quarterback. I don't care what his statistics were 2 weeks ago before the week before the bye against the Colts. Blake Bortles is not a good quarterback. And when you force the Jaguars to throw the ball in tight spaces, that's where this team falters. If you control the ball and you don't turn the ball over on an offense and you drive down the field and do what you can to score, and you get up by 7 or 10 points, if you're up like 10-0 or you're up 16-6, then Jacksonville, that's where they fade. That's what Tennessee showed in week 2. We got out to a 16-3 lead and just poured it on from there. Because when you force Blake Bortles to throw the ball, that's what loses the Jags games. I also believe the Jaguars should get the win here because they're at home. They never win at home. They seem like they're too good of a football team not to have won at home, which means I think they're due to win at home. Oh, that was a lot. Next up, let's spend a little bit of time on this one. We have the Colts at the Houston Texans, and look. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart goes out to Houston fans. My heart goes out to Deshaun Watson. I never like seeing injuries like that. I really don't. I was looking forward to playing him again. It's a tough league. Houston, they took it. That's just a devastating blow to this team. With Tom Savage, unless he learns something, which I doubt, the Houston Texans are not going to win more than 6 or 7 games with Tom Savage as their quarterback, and couple that with the fact that they don't have J.J. Watt or Whitney Mercilus for the season. I mean, Houston's defense has been ripped to shreds in recent games if you do your research. Against Kansas City, against Seattle, this defense has been ripped. The only thing that kept the Texans' offense in those games, even though they lost, was Deshaun Watson. And Tom Savage. If Tom Savage were starting against Seattle tomorrow, Seattle wins that game 38-10. So my heart goes out to him, and I hope for a speedy recovery because I was excited. I mean, I know in the long run, theoretically, this helps Tennessee, honestly, a ridiculous amount. This helps Tennessee a lot. Our odds at winning the division go from probably 29%, and now with this injury, it's likely, I mean, I'm not going to count you out yet, but it's likely a 2-team race between the Jaguars and the Titans. Tennessee already beat Jacksonville this year, so we have a tiebreaker over them. We get them at home in week 17. But at the same time, how long can you trust Blake Bortles? Tennessee actually has a quarterback. Jacksonville does not. Jacksonville has got a good defense, but Blake Bortles. Now, and that sucks. Deshaun Watson, I had nothing but respect for the kid coming into the league, and I garnered even more respect for him when he did things like donate his game check to charity for the Houston Hurricane. His first game check. I mean, the NFL needs more people like Deshaun Watson in this league, and for what happened to him just isn't fair, and it's upsetting. And I am almost at a loss for words because there's that part of you, there's that football fan part of you that's excited. Yeah, cool. Tennessee, 4-3. The Colts and the Texans are down to their backup quarterbacks, and the Jaguars have Blake Bortles. But as a human, I'm a human first and foremost. That's all I'll say about it. But yeah, it sucks. Now, in this game, I'm not sure who to pick, only because it seems like these teams are on a little kind of middling ground. I'm going to stick with Houston in this game. I had originally picked them to win thoroughly. I'm sticking with Houston only because what I've seen from Indianapolis hasn't been that good. I know they almost beat the Bengals. It's going to be a close one, I think. Houston, I think, does just enough to win. We're going to go 19-13 in overtime. And that'll be that. Next game, Cardinals at 49ers. I'm going to go Arizona here. I know they're down. Everyone seems to be down their quarterbacks. Oh my goodness. Arizona, down Carson Palmer. I think they go on the road to San Francisco. I want to pick the Niners so badly, but I can't. I just can't. Cardinals, I think, get the win. We'll go 18-16. Arizona over San Francisco. I don't know if Brian Hoyer is going to play. Not sure. But is there any guarantee that he'll be that good? Think about it. Not Brian Hoyer. Did I say Brian Hoyer? I meant to say Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, if Jimmy Garoppolo plays in this game, that would be surprising. I'm just updating this real quick. Dumb computer. Okay. So I want to pick the Niners in this game, but I don't want to. Because I don't trust them. And I know they're 0-8, but I think Jimmy Garoppolo needs a little bit of time to learn this offense. And it's not even a guarantee that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be the savior of the San Francisco 49ers. Because, let's face it, Bill Belichick and the quarterbacks he's released have not looked good not being in the Patriots system. He now goes to a Niners team that doesn't have the luxury of Gronk, that doesn't have the luxury of Julian Edelman when he was there last season for Garoppolo to throw to. So I'm going to pick the Cardinals in here. But a lot of these quarterback injuries are making it really tough to pick games. Next up, we have the Redskins at the Seahawks. I'm picking Seattle at home. Washington doesn't have an offensive line. At this point, they're probably going to have some of their defensive linemen line up and play offensive line because that's how depleted this Washington Redskins team is at that position. So I think Seattle and that defense just takes control and wins 28-12 over Washington. Kansas City at Dallas. I'm picking the Chiefs. The Chiefs, Andy Reid, I don't know what he's doing on that offense. You know that I lost fantasy football this past week in one of my leagues because Tyreek Hill threw an interception. I'm going to go off on a tangent. I had Mark Ingram starting in fantasy football. Fumbled twice. I had Tyreek Hill. Threw an interception and didn't even record a second half catch. And on the other side, the kicker was Steven Hauschka. My opponent had Steven Hauschka. And he forces a damn fumble on a tackle. One of those three things don't happen, I win. Fantasy football. Okay, salt is over. Let's keep going. Kansas City at Dallas. Kansas City gets the win. Zeke is suspended. Dallas shouldn't be hindered too much because of that offensive line, but I think the Kansas City Chiefs end up taking the game 27-21 over Dallas. Next up, we have the Raiders at the Dolphins. Raiders, if the Raiders don't win this game, you're dropping in my power rankings because this is a Miami Dolphins team that stinks. know I apologized to their fans earlier. I mean, that was an impressive win in Atlanta. I'll give you that. But the fact of the matter is, you put up. I don't care if you had a backup quarterback. Matt Moore won games for you last year, so that's not even an excuse. The Miami Dolphins put up 0 points. They lost 40-0 on Thursday Night Football. And now they get an Oakland Raiders team that's just desperate for a win. This team is unbelievably desperate. They're 3-5 right now, and they're on the. If this is the waterline right here, the Raiders are right here. All right, they're underwater right now, and they're 8 games in. They need to kick it into high gear now because their margin for error is probably 1 game, maybe 2 the rest of the season. They need to win this. And back to the quarterback injuries. Lions at Packers. I'm picking Detroit because Aaron Rodgers was hurt. Lions get back on the winning track. They get back to 4-4. So we'll go. Okay, Raiders Dolphins. We're gonna go 31-10. Raiders over Miami. And Lions at Packers. We're gonna go 24-13 over Green Bay. Those are my picks. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. See you guys all next time.